The first ever Team Strike Gundam tournament. That is right. Today, it's the Team Strike New Type battle. Not only is this really exciting, but this is one of the first EU-friendly Gundam tournaments that is online that the community can be a part of. And today we are holding this in our Team Strike Discord. Members of the community from all around the world, including the EU, can be a part of it. So if you're watching this and you want to be a part of it, make sure that you come and join the Discord. Link to that is down in the description below. But we have one hell of a tournament for you today. Now, this is the first time we've ever done anything like this. So any support, likes, comments, anything like that would really, really help. If you guys want to see more of this, let us know. We'll make it happen. So today I've got the commentary team. I've got my boy Adam Serenity from Team Strike joining me with also fellow Gundam content creator Vortex TCG. We're going to be calling the games today. This is the first ever Team Strike tournament. So if you guys do want to have a go joining us, you can. The link will be down in the description below. In the first game, we've got about, I think it's 15 players today. So got a nice good turnout for our first ever tournament. And round one, we actually do have quite a cool game, right? We've got a good, decent matchup.
Yeah, so on the first round matchup, we have a very interesting build of Blue-White Unicorn Gundam, utilizing both the Destroy mode and the Awakens, so looking forward to seeing that in action. And on the other side, we have good old Destiny Gundam. I think a pretty fan favorite-ish deck in the GDO4 meta, and there are definitely some interesting things happening with this build as well.
Yep, so we've got some really, really cool stuff. You'll be able to see all of the graphics on screen of what we are looking at here in terms of these two players, but we're going to get the game underway. As always, if you do want to see more videos like this, liking the videos and subscribing to the channel will really help, but let's jump in.
Well, it looks like Purple White's elected to go second.
Pretty important for that deck, I would say, because getting the early advantage with the Impulse Gundam swings is pretty important to set up the strategy.
That's the thing with Destiny, right? You kind of want to see the parts quite early on, and the thing is, if the late game in it is fantastic, but you do want to see the parts that you need to see quite early on. Otherwise, it can be a little bit of a bit difficult. Would you say?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really want to see your Minerva turn one, that's like the key to getting your engine online, and then hopefully you can then start cracking on with your Impulse and cheat out some stuff early. That's quite a key part of the engine. If you don't see that early, it can feel a bit frustrating to play.
And obviously with the Destiny deck, you have two really good first turn plays in the Overflowing and the previously mentioned Minerva. Like, both of these cards are real killers in the strategy, mainly getting those Sword Impulses like we mentioned before, and the Blast Impulse ready for whenever the Destiny Gundam does come out.
Yeah, I mean, Overflow, which we see here.
And we're seeing it.
It's literally probably, in a deck like that, it's probably the optimal one. If you don't have to use the base and you can get that, I mean, there we go. I mean, that's pretty good.
Oh, big one straight away. And it's a free of in the deck, so it's not an easy card to find early on.
Yeah, and now his opponent now knows what he's playing against. So now, we actually see a pass. Okay,
yeah.
So can we see an Impulse?
His only level 2 play would have been a Zolo, so...
That
and an Overflow. We could have seen an Overflow.
Yeah. Okay, and we see the Impulse.
Oh,
yeah.
This is big.
This is
going to be a big, because if they're able to go into Impulse Gundam swing, bring out the Blast Impulse straight away, that's going to be a real headache for our opponent here.
Oh, we see Healthy Curiosity. Okay.
Nice little cycle card. I think it's pretty underrated, actually. Just being able to draw a card on the turns that you just have a free one open, pretty good.
Yeah, and obviously the ability to be able to rest, right, later on.
Yeah. And we're seeing it in combination in this deck with the Kind-Hearted, so clearly this Unicorn player wants to get the advantage with cards like the Unicorn Gundam Awakened, so they're able to draw cards minus AP as well.
It's also fuel for his Banshee Norn top end, so all in all.
It's true.
Another Overflowing.
Oh, that's a big one as well, because being able to, just fuel up even further. And it's the Sword Impulse, which is going to be really nasty for our opponent right now if he decides to activate the effect, and he will.
Yeah, there's no way you're not getting rid of that. So that goes in. And there it comes.
Yeah. And I think it's also important to know that this Unicorn player is not playing Gundam Amuro. So Sword Impulse is sticking around.
That's the thing. There's no real way to remove that. And the 4 AP, that will do some damage as well. So we get the Devour. Is that how it's pronounced? Devour?
Yeah, Devour.
And
the Zolowat League Militaire blocker. So it can deal with the Sword Impulse, but do you really want to be dealing with the Sword Impulse? Because it'll just come back.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about the Destiny deck, right? It just keeps on coming back. And even if you end up with a small hand towards the end of the game, you don't feel as bad about it as your opponent that's not playing Destiny will feel.
No, and there's an interesting deck choice in that, as you mentioned earlier, Vortex, he's not running a Miro, but he's also running double Riddy, but no Delta Plus. So his first link that he has will be a level 5, one of the unicorns at this point in time. So things will stick, at least for the purple-white player, for the next turn or two.
So he lets that through, which makes sense. You probably would let that through. You're not going to kill the base, and that as you said, that Sword Impulse is just going to come back, right? So it's a good start here from the Destiny player.
We're seeing the Minerva now, which is a nice little draw for the Destiny player, but also being able to cycle a card here. It seems like he might not have a clear play, but discarding that Destiny Gundam is a very interesting choice, right? Because kind of speaks to me that he might already have a Destiny Gundam in hand.
It's that, or if he has a Force Impulse in hand, he knows, well, eventually I'll get that out and I'll just get that Destiny back, which is one of the really nice things about this deck, is that it's not one of those things where if you put it in the trash, you're necessarily sad to see it go.
See a follow-up with the Rick Diaz here, and I don't think it really matters that much. It's mainly going to be used, I think, for aggression, because being able to get an additional swing on the early turns of a Unicorn deck is going to be mighty powerful, and we're seeing a show resolve early on from the Unicorn player.
Well, I suppose like now is actually a decent time to use it, right? Yeah, I mean, that base is probably going to get going. You can maybe maximum lose 1 shield. So if you've not got anything in your hand, start setting up for the late game. Because as we said, we don't even have anything to link with until level 5, which clearly we probably don't have that now, being on level 5.
I think the awkward thing is that the Unicorn that he's playing, that is obviously level 5, is a free off, so it's going to be a bit more difficult to find, which I think is the reason why he probably opted into the show resolve. But we are seeing an Impulse Gundam here, which, like you said, if we're able to get into that Force Impulse, bring back the Destiny Gundam, it's a really good loop for the deck.
I think this is a slight misplay by blocking that, because he's going to be able to summon it back with the Impulse and get the resolve for free.
It depends what he chooses to do, because if he opts for the Force Impulse to get that Destiny back, that resell might be okay. But we'll see what he decides to do here. And that's the thing about Destiny, is when you do have a decent trash, you do start to have flexibility and options.
I think the awkward thing in this situation, however, is that if he does decide to go into the Impulse Gundam effect right now, you do lose 2 of the Impulse Gundams already, right? Because he brought back the sword, and now he's going to bring back another sword. And it's a key part of the strategy, right? So being able to, shuffle both of them just means that you have less chance of finding it in the later game.
Yep, so we'll see what he's opting for. He's opting not to wait a turn to use it, which is interesting because obviously there's no blockers currently on the field, so we can set up what we're going to do next turn, but it depends how much he wants that resell gone, because we do have the Rick Diaz as well.
Honestly, I think the better play here is to actually just not go into the sword. I mean, the Force Impulse is right there. Being able to go into another body that is a 5/4, a really good stat line in itself, and being able to potentially return the Sword Impulse or the Destiny at a later point, I think is going to help him in the longer game. Yeah,
because you're never sad to see, you get value with that card, but if you want to just ram it into something, get the Destiny, it's such a, like, Force Impulse is an unbelievable card in this deck.
It sure is, and I think Gundam at the moment doesn't really have any good recursion. It's mainly just, you play cards from the hand, once they're done, but Destiny itself is very different in that regard, and our opponent here is finally playing the level 5 Unicorn here. Is he going to have the link for it, though?
No.
Ooh, no link. He's got a Forbidden Gundam, though, which I think is an interesting tech choice for the deck. I think it's mainly focusing on, potentially battling with aggro decks.
Yes.
We do have some Blurples appearing in the ladder. So we'll have to wait and see if it actually has some effect into those matchups.
Yeah, it's a really, really nice card. I think that level 5/3 in Dex is a really interesting, like, competitive area. So I can see why you would go for it, because it's a solid 4/4. Like you said, great into aggro blocker as well. But in not so great in the aggro, in the non-aggro matchup, maybe.
It's just a bit of an awkward stat line, right? 4/4. It doesn't really clear stuff like the Gundam Amuro when linked. It is a bit of an awkward one, I would say, and obviously it is only on level 2 or lower. Level 2s, are you going to really see that many at like high AP? Probably not.
Although for a Banshee Norn deck, it is a unit with block that also fuels Norn. So
That's actually very true.
It's true.
There is other, as I agree, other techier choices. It doesn't have the utility of like a Silver Bullet or a Perfect Strike in that sort of sense. I think for a Norn deck, it does make sense to give you that at least agency and helping you fuel your trash for later turns.
I think that's also why we're seeing Healthy Curiosity is so good in this deck, because obviously it's a blue card, feeds Norn, but also for Unicorn Awaken, right? So that is also another card that can be used for that to get the effects off from that as well. So yeah, just a really, really good card.
Looking at the deck profile from the Unicorn player, it's quite clear that they are trying to get to level 7 to get into those key cards in the Unicorn Awakened and the Destroy mode. Like, the Unicorn player is playing both Riddies, which is definitely a interesting choice, especially as I think the white Riddy is probably better for this deck, but also having the +1/+1 could help fuel the Norn as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we're just having a little think about what we want to do here as well, because see, now we do have a blocker on board. So, but then it's interesting. Does the Unicorn player want to block with the Force Impulse, knowing that Destiny is in there as well? That's always an interesting one, because he could also have it in hand.
And the third Impulse Gundam comes down. So I think it's quite clear as to why our opponent was very trigger happy with playing out the impulses as he did, because he just has a lot of them in hand, and he's going to use the Sword Impulse here to remove the Razel Rested.
And that 4 AP stat line, it is a problem, an absolute problem. So yeah, this is actually really, really interesting matchup. It feels like it's like waiting to go off in a way, because we are getting to that stage of the game now.
I think my worry from the Impulse Destiny player is that he has gone through 3 now, and I think there could have been a better time to potentially use it, because, I mean, you already have a 3/3 on the field that you can trade into. Like, I don't think it's that bad, but it really depends on how the opponent wants to block, right? Because if they decide to block like they just done, it is a bit more awkward. But I think if you force the trade with the Force Impulse, you get some cards back into your hand, you're able to get rid of a body. I think that might have been the better play, potentially.
Yeah, because sometimes you don't mind seeing Impulse going into trash as well, because Force Impulse could bring it back, and, you know, okay, here we go. Here we go.
And he has the Riddy, which is the blue one, so it has +1/+1, and doesn't get the bonus, unfortunately, because it's not a repair unit, but it is still a huge stat line, right? Like 5/7 is a pretty big stat line that is going to be difficult to get rid of. But unfortunately, as we are playing against Destiny, they do also have probably the best way to remove it in the Shin Asuka, because +3/+0, pretty darn strong.
On anything. I mean, you can turn a Lefrith into a machine. It's such a great card for just being mega aggressive and taking out those big units, because, you know, a 7 HP unit is no joke.
But do you think he intends to swing, or do you think he intends to tower the unit so that he can set up?
Well, that's the thing, because otherwise then do you just opt for Banager? So there we go, the Destiny is there.
Here we go. And I think the opponent's done pretty well here, because I think with the adding of the Destiny Gundam, it has high maneuver, which is probably the most important thing on this card right now, because it avoids that Forbidden Gundam block and is able to get rid of that Devour, which is going to get some insane value if kept alive during this turn.
Exactly. So it is interesting, because yes, we can tower the Unicorn, but necessarily we don't actually have to engage with it per se. Eventually we're going to have to start seeing something. So now, knowing the Destiny's in there, do you block this?
I think you're fine with blocking, because realistically you're not going to get much value from it. It's a bit of an awkward one though, because it is still a body and the opponent isn't got like a good way to really answer it, so it is a bit of an awkward one, I would say. I probably would have let the swing through, because you can just like block the Rick Diaz and then you have one less way to regurge the sword impulse from the Destiny effect.
Yeah, and the Devour is obviously still surviving that attack, so it'd be interesting, because we're yet to see a pilot on the side of Destiny, right? So we do see Destiny now.
I think it's going to change very soon, unless he's going to pass just like this. Oh, he's...
two.
Oh, okay.
Well, technically, you're going to get an optimal... If he has a pilot for it next turn, we're going to get the maximum amount of resources to pay for the next turn, right? To bring something out of the trash. So this is where Destiny starts to get really scary, but obviously we need a way for our Unicorn player to start attacking these units, and, you know, with no rested units, we're actually having to start committing.
Oh, okay.
Big.
Interesting.
Big swing.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that swing, but I think it's a case of, you know, he wants to trade and get the Devour value here, which he obviously does here. He's going to play out another level 5 Unicorn and with a Razel, and he's left one open, so he can do some things like the Kind-Hearted that he's playing to reduce the AP on a following turn, but I'm going to pass it there.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that swing, but I guess he feels under pressure to make something happen at this point. He has no way to block if Shin gets under either of those units.
I think it's quite clear what the Unicorns player's gameplay is going to be here. He's going to try and force a swing with the Awakened every turn and get the value from Devour, and if that doesn't work out, he's going to just continuously build up his board with stuff like the Unicorn mode here and the Razel. So we'll have to wait and see how it goes, but the power's in Destiny, right? Because he's got that Force Impulse in Trash, and that is where the value goes a little bit crazy for this deck, as long as he has a pilot.
Well, this is the thing, but also playing it early last turn, if he could get a pilot that has Shin, here we go. Yeah, so now we're going to get maximum, because obviously we do untap the resource here, right? So we have full resources to play with.
And what's he going to go for?
Probably... Oh, okay,
Sword
yeah.
Impulse.
I suppose it does take one of them off the board. Yeah, yeah.
I guess it's just a case of the Unicorn player potentially threatening like 4 shield takes in one turn, and potentially even more if the Unicorn player has another Awakened with a Banager link, right? So
yeah,
I think it's a little bit of a heads-up play here for sure, but we'll have to wait and see how it goes.
Well, we also know that they're running 4 Healthies and 2 Kind Hearts, which we've only seen 1 as well, right? So we could see some Unicorn magic there as well, but...
Oh, he's swinging into it.
interesting.
Now, to my knowledge, I don't think that the deck has any ways to ping. I could be wrong. Or he's thinking of potentially using Ale Strike to bounce it back to hand.
Oh,
The
well,
only direct damage spell it has is a Giant Killing, which you can't use on a rested unit. So yeah, there is no ping currently.
and we're yet to see Banager as well, other than that one link. So we've seen, obviously, the other unit there, which I'm assuming, if no blocker is put out, that Unicorn mode is probably going to go straight into that Destiny.
It's looking like the Ale Strike. Oh, but no link. Has a flat militia instead.
So yeah, this is the thing. If you can protect that Destiny, it starts to snowball a little bit.
Oh, it's a true value engine.
We'll have to wait and see, obviously, with how the Unicorn player decides to take his turn. Got 4 cards in hand, the Destiny player, so...
But for Destiny, that's basically 1,000 cards.
Yeah. So it looks like he's going to pay for something pretty expensive, but he's going to start with a swing. Not too sure what he's going to swing at. I assume it's the Destiny.
I'd imagine the Destiny, yeah. And now it's just a case, do we give them the Ale, or do we just take the hit on the flat, let it survive?
It's a bit of an awkward one, right? Because the Unicorn player isn't really playing that many action-related commands. So he can't really manipulate the AP totals as much as he would probably want, right? You'd probably want to get stuff like, unforeseen, more kind-hearted, like those kind of plays to potentially do more. But that is going to be a huge draw here, both the Riddy and the non-destroy mode.
Yeah, I mean, ideally we want to be, yeah, this is... Now, this is where this deck really does a lot of work, because obviously we've seen that trash. We can see it's quite big on the Unicorn player's side here as well. So it'd be interesting to see how many swings we can get out of this. The crazy thing about Shin, though, is even if you did a whole load, like, there's only so many swings you can do because there's only one rested unit. So even if you go at shields and then you swing...
But a Shin
in
shields is going to be a little bit interesting. He's going to restand his destroy mode by exiling 3 blue cards. And we're going to see how he swings. Well, he's banished the cards, but he hasn't says active yet. So we'll see how that goes from there.
So I think we still have enough for at least 2 more sets there, it looks like. There was at least 6 there. And I
think you have to let it go through because the flat just goes for free.
Yeah. And if the flat goes for free, you just do it again, and then happy days.
And then, of course, as well, we do have suppression on this as well, right?
Yeah, and the block isn't going to feel good, right? Because you're already -3.
Yeah, it's free. Change of heart,
Although the previous damage has left it in range for the flat to kill it, I believe, which is not a terrible trade for the purple-white player.
Yep,
so we take the block. Yep. And
that is a disgusting card right now, because that just really controls the field, right? Because now the Sword Impulse is kind of feeling a little bit lonely on that side of the field.
Yeah, it might be a bit of a backbreaker of a turn there. Yeah.
It really goes to show the power of the Destroy mode and Awakened on one side of the field, right? Like, I don't think many people have been testing both of them in the same deck. It's usually one or the other, and you mainly see Destroy mode in decks like Ligue Militaire. So it's very interesting to watch this play out, because I think the combination we're seeing here is obviously very powerful.
It's having these two on is very scary. And there's a giant killing going back into trash there from the overflowing.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's just not going to be able to hit some of those real big cards on that field.
So I believe that this will still... Would this it still be able to take it yet? Because it's just in range. But he got good value out of that, I would say. So it's not the worst. But the problem is it can come back.
Yeah, that's the problem here, right? And I think if the unit was going to die anyways, he probably should have healed the Destroy mode instead there, right? Because, I mean, at least then you're able to constantly get these -1s on the field, right?
Yeah, and the Banshee's standing, so it is safe.
Yeah.
I mean, after all of Purple-White's strong start, we are at a fairly even state at this point of the game as well. It's 4 shields for Purple-White, 3 shields and a base for Blue-White.
Yeah, and I mean, this is where like Unicorn just becomes very powerful, right? Because just being able to have one big unit, they have to answer you. Is it going to be possible? Unlikely. So we'll have to wait and see how this goes. But I think the position of Blue-White is looking better turn by turn.
I mean, it's interesting. We haven't seen any blast impulses yet either, have we? Well, there we go.
Yep. Speak of the devil.
Commentator's curse, right?
You got anything else you want to summon into existence on this turn? That's the time.
Well, we've also yet to see Kira as well, right?
Another Destiny. Burning the EX. Will it be a Shin or a Kira?
So he does have a Shin in hand, doesn't he? We saw that get burst earlier on. But the thing is, this turn it's kind of pointless, I'd say, because...
Yeah, it's not worth it. Like, you don't gain anything from it. Like, sure, you can get a swing to get rid of the Devour, and I assume that's what the Destiny player is thinking. Like, he's just going to constantly get value from the Devour, so do I just get rid of it now? But I think you value your Destiny or the Blast Impulse over the Devour at this point, right? Because with the Shin, you're able to swing into the Destroy mode quite easily. If you destroy the Devour now, it kind of just leaves one of your key cards just hanging about. So, bit of a weird one.
What HP is Norn left on at this point in time?
I think it's probably 4 or 3. I can't really tell.
Because I'm just trying to think if Devour will take it out of range. Yeah, it recovers 2, right? So the only argument would be trying to block it on that initial swing to your shield, so that you'd still be able to kill it with the Blast Impulse. He'll lose that if it gets a Devour turn off.
That was some really interesting discards, by the way. There was like a Riddy and a Banager, and I feel like 2 of those...
It makes you wonder what's in hand, right?
Yeah, it's like... If you're discarding the Banager, like, you must either not have a Unicorn, which I find difficult to believe, but also, you know, the Riddy, so...
And the thing with Banager is it being a 2/2, like, you don't mind putting that under anything. So it is a valuable pilot regardless, but... So we're just healing up.
I think he's at 2 now, maybe?
Yeah, and what have we got coming out here? Oh, there we go. So
you had it anyways.
Yeah, there it is. So again, this is a big problem, because he's going to have to block this, because that is a suppression right there, right? So
he's not blocking.
Ellen, another Destiny.
Another Destiny.
If we have a pilot next turn, we can bring back Destiny via Destiny.
Yeah, and that's where the advantage becomes way too much for a lot of decks, but I'm kind of interested about how that turn played, because he did play 2 command cards that turn, so I have to assume that he drew into the Awakened and Banager to go for that kind of play. Otherwise, he could have got like some crazy value that turn in regards to like minusing all the AP.
Because if he had blocked, like, it's just nothing. It's just nothing.
The 4/6 stat line from the Unicorn Awakened is very powerful, just because you're able to, you know, just essentially go through the majority of the game currently, because most of the cards are around like the 5/5 range at the high end, but with the pilot, 6/8, very strong.
So we're opting for base here, and I'm assuming we're going to bring back the Destiny. But I do feel like that Unicorn does need to be addressed with a suppression on it. Obviously, of course, we still have the Norn stood there as well. Also,
I think the Destiny player still has their EX resource out, even though you used it last turn. So hopefully that won't get used. But let's keep that in mind. Hopefully he doesn't mess it up.
No, we can always jump in to remind if needed. So I'm assuming that Destiny is coming back. There, so there it is.
Seems like you got the pilot for it as well.
There we go.
We do. And I'm assuming that's going...
It has to, right? Like, you can't let it... Oh, no.
Oh.
Unless he's bringing back another blocker. Nope. Force Impulse.
Really interesting play. I mean, obviously it makes sense to go into the Force to, you know, get back the Destinies if they do go away from the field, but kind of need to answer that Awakened, I think. Like,
because we've got two shields there and a link. Now, was the Rex resource actually used?
I believe so, because he used it for a pilot, right? Oh no, for a unit, was it?
Let me just double check.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure
he did touch it. I just can't remember if he spent it.
Yeah. I don't want to get that messed up on the game.
Guys, just a quick question just before you continue. Was that EX resource used previously. We just want to just make sure that... Okay. Okay. Perfect. Just wanted to just double check that. So just give us 1 second and then just continue in 20 seconds time, okay?
I assume it was okay then.
Yeah, it was all good.
Okay. Apologies. I thought I saw him use it.
No,
No.
he definitely picked it up. So
Yeah.
So yeah, we just checked in. Yeah, so should be fine. And yeah, they should be good to go any moment. I did ask for 20 seconds, so...
Yeah. My bad.
So if he can get around one blocker, he has lethal potentially this turn.
The third Devour, though. Oh.
The grand reveal. Dun, dun.
He has a healthy hand, so maybe he's fishing for a pilot.
But he discarded 2 pilots.
I know,
previous
I'm
turn.
just... Without being able to see what else was in his hand, I did think that was an odd choice at this later stage of the game, especially a Bandager. So this will get blocked.
This has to get blocked.
He doesn't have a ton of action step cards, so maybe he's sitting on something to surprise.
Decides to block there and not using any command cards there, so just going to swing once again, do -1 to the whole field.
A flat militia there.
burst.
So we're going to restand here as well. The thing is, though, is he's going to want to address those destinies because it is...
He's going to have to swing into him.
Yep. And this is the
So
thing.
he's decided to swing.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Shin. It's just such a huge unit, right? So it's like, even with any reductions.
Got Lifrith. Got another Riddy.
Really?
Making it a 3/5, which I guess answers the Sword Impulse.
My issue here is we could have...
The Bandager would have been better.
We could, in theory... yeah, I suppose he's going to block the Force Impulse, and it still won't die, so we can't bring back the Destiny.
Is it not a risky move because the Destiny will have high maneuver and it can bring back another Sword Impulse and just clear the Ridian?
This is the thing. Yeah.
For free, basically. I think it's lethal on board. I don't think he can stop it if he sequences correctly.
We've already seen 3 bases, right? So the chance of the last shield being a base is obviously unlikely, and
there's the giant
that
killing.
card does it as well.
Yeah, but he had multiple outs. It's good to see.
Yeah, I think you go with the... Yeah, well, it depends. Are we running Unforeseen?
No.
No one is running Unforeseen.
And gonna swing
that
for
should-
game.
And there we have it. So Purple White Destiny brings it home. All right, so there we have it. We do have the Destiny as the winner there as well. It was a really solid showing. When you start to see multiple Destinies on board, it's going to be a tough day at the office, isn't it?
For sure. And the Destiny player was able to find at least 2 of them, cycled them out pretty well with the Force Impulse and the Sword Impulses as well. So definitely a good advantage loop there being showcased by the Destiny player.
Oh, 100%. I really thought the Destiny player hadn't made the most of his fast start, but he'd managed to fuel his value engine enough that it was able to see him through. It was a well-executed game plan.
I'd also have to give props to the Unicorn player, right? Because the Unicorn player was able to threaten the board quite a lot during that game with the Unicorn Awakened and the Destroy Mode combo. Something that we don't really see much of in the current game state. So, very interesting deck from the Unicorn player for sure.
Definitely. I really would have liked to see a deck that maybe utilised a few more action step commands to see if we could have even squeezed a little bit more value out of that engine, because I think the Norn and the Awakened on the board at the same time could actually be insane value if you could like drop an action step card or even like an unforeseen and just get absolutely 3 swings at the board, and sitting on big HP totals, so they're going to have to crash multiple units into you.
Right, well, we move into round 2. Okay, so round 2, we have Foster FX versus Alex. Now, Alex is actually a member of Team Strike who previously actually got top 4 at the Bristol Regionals with the O. Playing green-white today and going into quite a fun deck as well for Foster.
Yeah, so Ligue Militaire is going to be the deck of choice for Foster FX here, and it is definitely a more interesting list, I would say. Usually we see the Norn Destroy mode in this deck, but we are seeing an interesting take on it with Kira and Ale, so looking forward to seeing how this goes.
We've got Alex on the other side with his green-white deck. Nice wing setup here. Alex used to be a green-white main before picking up the O, and he's gone back to his roots.
I always feel like this is a really fun matchup, green-white versus blue-white, especially when you have some breach elements that we do see in Alex's deck. Of course, we do have the stuff like the Shenlong, which can affect those kind of early game blockers as well, and a really nice choice of the STO9 freedom as well, just adding a bit of spice into this wing deck.
It's going to be interesting to see how it holds up against this lower to the ground Ligue Militaire list. As Jordan was saying, it's quite an interesting list. It's got a bit of bounce, a bit of ping, it's got a little bit of everything in there as well, so I'm interested to see how green-white can weather that early storm.
I think it's also interesting to see that from the Victory Gundam side, it feels like he's playing it as more of an engine and not more of its own type of deck, right? Like we are seeing essentially the core cards of the strategy being the Victory Gundam, the V-Dash Gundam, and the Zolowat. Like those are the main ones that you have access to really, you know, get the engine going, get some draws, get some breach going. Pretty decent overall. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Because also right now with Ligue Militaire, we're seeing a lot of Norn, so it'll be interesting if, you know, from Alex's side, can you even guess if that is a point? Because typically we do see the core Ligue Militaire engine, but we normally see a top end there. So this is going to be a really fun game actually, and we're seeing a lot of Ligue Militaire love at the moment. It's a really fun deck.
100%, and Alex is definitely going to be thinking Norn, so he may be playing around it even though it's not there. So it will be interesting to see if we get round to turn 6 and he does a full stand expecting a Norn turn.
So yeah, start with the Lefrith there as well. Good early game.
I think the key thing is for this matchup for Alex to actually find out what they're going to be playing is that Ale Strike. If the Ale Strike does get played, I think there's a good chance that he'll know that maybe the Banshee Norn isn't going to be in there. So it'll be interesting to see.
So we do see the Kind-Hearted get played there as well, which obviously does confirm the second colour.
I think it's interesting because it kind of reveals that you might be playing a unicorn deck, right? So it's kind of like a little bit of a bait and switch here, but as soon as he finds out that it's also Ligue Militaire, I think it's going to throw him for a loop because this is not a common card that you see in most lists.
No, that's the thing, but that's the nice stage we are at with Gundam though, is we have versatility that you can have multiple things that will throw you off Kind-Hearted as well. We also have Healthy Curiosity cards like that as well, so just a card like that alone, like, it's still not telling you much, so...
What I will say about the Ligue Militaire list is that I think it's going to be difficult to... Oh, a third one.
3 triplets straight out there.
Back to the point, I think it's going to be difficult for the Ligue Militaire potentially to actually get enough units to get the draw 1 from the Victory Gundam, because there isn't really stuff like that we normally see. Like, obviously we have the Gun Easy here, but we also don't have stuff like, you know, the Victory Gundam level 2 or level 3 one, I should say. And we're also seeing, you know, not a lot of token generation. So it's going to be interesting to see how this draw 1 effect goes off and if it's going to be consistent enough.
This is one of the odd downsides to Gun Easy is it's mandatory that it does have to come in rested, right? In this situation, if there is something to rest. So kind of playing it out exposed, but of course we do have our own Lefrith there as well. So, but this will kind of send messages down to what we might be playing now, right?
Well, this is a turn 5 for Alex as well, and we know he's running Shenlong, so this could be an interesting turn if that comes out, because it will get rid of that blocker for free next turn.
Well, the gun tank would also, the gun easy would also go for free if you chose to swing, because obviously if it was linked, we don't take damage from units with 3 AP or less, so that could be devastating.
It'll be a blowout for sure. And, you know, obviously the thing we're forgetting about with Shenlong, it has Breach 4. So not only are you removing 2 bodies from it, but you're also allowed to swing after with the Lifrith and Flat. And it's very important to get those early swings on with the wing deck, right? Because being able to get that early advantage, being able to swing, and then preparing for wing 0 turns is going to be a huge way to win this game.
All right, so we're seeing 4 here. It's the
Ale.
Ailstrike. Well, I mean, this still kind of works the same, right? So we can bounce.
And is that Kira?
There is the Kira as well. So obviously we can bounce that Lefrith, and we can take that for free now with the Ailstrike if we do choose to take it.
Do you think he're following on the base?
It's a bit of an awkward one, right? Because obviously getting the base and getting 2 swings is going to be pretty beneficial for the wing player, but I think also removing the gun easy is going to be very important here as well, because as we've just talked about, the Ligue Militaire isn't playing that many Ligue Militaire units. It's mainly just the core units in the Victory, the V-Dash, so being able to remove the bodies to deny the draw 1 is going to be powerful, and that is what we see here.
And the thing is as well, there won't be enough resources for a clapback with those 2 blockers standing as well, right? So the L is protected, but we are actually swinging. So going for it here.
It's definitely an interesting line of play. Probably a little bit greedy, I would say, because
Very aggressive. Very aggressive.
if you're able to answer the Ailstrike, I would say you're in a pretty good situation, but we'll have to wait and see.
I mean, the thing is, though, is if you do answer the Ailstrike, there's not much more you can play this turn, right? So a link at minimum is going to take up 4 resources. So you're still going to have those two Lefriths to ag with.
And pretty much any link will probably trade.
And here we
outside
are.
Of, yeah, outside of another Ailstrike.
Oh, yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, like
The only
the
thing
play...
that's better than an Ailstrike Kira is an Ailstrike Kira after the Ailstrike Kira.
And it's going to be difficult to remove this, right? Because green-white doesn't really have any active ways of removing stuff at low HP other than the Wing Gundam Zero itself. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Wing player plays this out.
So that's the
It
thing.
can just be like...
Do we take the flat straight into it, just get rid of it? But then, then that's a...
Yeah, I think you do. I don't think you can let it sit around and stand, because that becomes a whole nother problem.
It's shields.
Go for shields.
Ooh.
Okay, there's the Gundam Armoro there.
2 more Lefriths as well. Well, Flat and Lefrith. So Alex is taking a beatdown approach to this one.
Will be interesting to see if we do see V-Dash at any point as well, because we are coming up to the kind of turns you would see that play. Of course, we'd only be able to rest one of them, but we haven't really seen the League kind of system come online yet in this game, which has actually been quite interesting.
Well, as Jordan said, it's not running a ton of token generation outside of pilot links at this point, so it will be requiring a link on the V-Dash for it to actually even get its effect at this point.
And to be honest, now that I think about the play a little bit more, about swinging into shields, I think it probably was the right play, because what you're going to be able to do is, well, you need to control the field, right? But if you decide to do a -2 on one of the blockers, you just block with the other one, right? So it's a bit of an awkward situation, and the wing player is going to be able to, at least go for like 2 swings potentially on the following turn.
Yeah, that's right. So it really depends what we have following up here with, because obviously we still have all our resources open here.
The main thing here would obviously be the V-Dash Gundam, right? Being able to go into the V-Dash Gundam, rest one of the flats, be able to get a breach charge to get rid of the EX base finally would be huge, but we'll have to wait and see.
It looks like the League Militaire is having an earthquake right now. So yeah, as called, we're going to block that as well, because when you've got multiple choices, it's almost guaranteed going to get blocked unless... and
an unforeseen. Oh, what value play.
Oh dear.
It lives on 1.
Probably a blowout, I would say. I mean, he has the ping.
Oh, he does have the ping. The spice in the list. The two gun tanks coming in clutch just when he needed them.
And this isn't common for Ligue Militaire. Like, Ligue Militaire doesn't tend to play these ping cards. It is mainly just Ligue Militaire and the Norn stuff. So maybe the gun tank might be, a mainstay for this deck going forward.
It's going to be interesting to see if we can get value out of the victory, though, because like we said, we don't have a lot of Ligue Militaire. I mean, to be fair, we haven't really seen a Zolo yet. We've only seen one gun easy. We have the Core Fighter in here as well, other victories, and yet to see the V-Dash. So ideally, we want to get the value out of that victory. But we can see the victory player does still have a healthy hand, though.
I'm going to be interested to see how Alex reacts this turn, because there's no way he was accounting for a gun tank in this list. So I wonder if that's throwing him off.
It would definitely throw me off. That's for sure, because gun tank, just not really a common card in this strategy. So it's nice to see some adaptation on the list. We're seeing it with, obviously, the Ale Strike Kira, but also the gun tank.
Oh,
it's indecision. You need to think about these things, because these are the kind of the crucial turns of Gundam. But I think the League player has done well to kind of stabilize. Well, not stabilize, but
well, for green white, the ideal turn this turn is usually a piece million into a linked wing Gundam. That's usually what they want to do. I'm assuming he potentially does not have that.
Well, we know he does have a hero in hand, because we can see it.
Can you zoom in enhance on the rest? Another Elfrith blockering up.
This turn is pivotal as well, because if they're not able to answer the victory Gundam, we're gonna get some draws.
He passed.
And it's a pass, so...
Well, that victory needs 2 more units, Ligue Militaire specifically, to actually get it, so...
A linked V-Dash would be really nice here. It would be really nice to generate that token, rest one of the units and start addressing things.
Yeah, obviously it still requires a little bit of setup, but if the victory Gundam was to go last turn, then I think we're going to be stuck around this like 5 to 4 card hand for a while. But if he does have the V-Dash, the Advantage Engine's online, we can get going. And I think the benefit of having those 3 kind-hearted early games just means we got to cycle through our deck a little bit more to get to our good cards. So hopefully we'll see some more out of this Ligue Militaire list.
Yeah, because obviously we still have 2 show resolves in the deck as well. We haven't seen a Gundam Armoro yet. We obviously do have actually Sword Strike in this deck.
There's the V-Dash.
There's the V-Dash.
But maybe no pilot. He was hesitant playing the card, right? So maybe he doesn't have the answer he's looking for.
Because the thing is, when you're playing against Wing, it is only a matter of time before they start seeing those kind of bigger breach units like Wing. But obviously, that card is out of Wing's active attacking range.
We're also potentially 2 turns off of a Wing 0, so he may need to find some creative ways to get active with a few of his units that will take that damage, like the gun tank.
But what's interesting is, for the Ligue Militaire's perspective, if I'm right, they don't know the second color yet.
It's true.
You are right. There hasn't been a green.
But then also, from Alex's perspective, he probably thinks he's playing Norn.
It's an interesting, a little bit of trickery going on from both sides here, but I think, not being able to show off the green is more important here than the blue, because being able to, hide the fact that you do have access to Wing is going to be a little bit difficult, right? Like, it can still potentially be something like white-red, maybe just a bit more late-game focused, but I'm sure that the players will adapt to, the Ligue Militaire player will adapt.
Oh, a Show of Resolve pass into Graysaw. Oh, that could be a bit of a swing.
The thing is, though, it's a bit weird because
sending gun tank always feels weird, but
yeah.
But this could be a setup for the second turn, because obviously we've got no resources left. If we do get a Wing 0, we can now go into that victory Gundam, because we won't get blocked now by the Lafrith. So
yeah, Wing Gundam here with Hero would be huge, because you'd be able to clear one of the bigger threats
And on top of that, you get 4 shields from that. It's potentially a very good value play here.
And considering that he will be conscious of the V-dash being there, he may just swing out to put maximum pressure on.
And the thing is, as well, is you have to remember as well, our League Militaire player does not know yet what they're playing against fully. So
just bouncing back the lift riff as well.
Isn't it a mandatory 2?
No, I don't
know.
believe
It's
it
a
is.
1 or 2.
It's 1 to 2. You're right. Yeah.
Oh, we are fully aggroing here.
I think this is a clear intent of what the hand is looking like for the wing player, right? Like, but they have the wing.
Here he comes.
Oh,
there's Hero.
The color is finally revealed, and I think quite easily to go into that victory Gundam.
Yeah. This might be the best turn 6 card in the game still. That's 7/7 breach going into active.
And it's another victory.
Yeah.
That's great information as well. 2 of his best top end cards have just gone in the trash.
And you're possibly looking at Wing 0 next turn as well.
Well, I don't think... I mean, unless he has literally 2 links or a Kira Earl again, I don't think he can fully clear board.
No, even if we put blockers in here, we still get the breach by going into... Like, the gun tank or any blocker that comes out next is going to get attacked. Of course, we can go into the wing with the V-dash and get our own breach.
But I feel like Alex would welcome that trade because it will clear the V-dash, and he's got an EX base and 6 shields. He's not too stressed about his shield situation right now.
Well, also, we have 3 unforeseens in this deck, and there are 2 up right there. So if V-dash does go into it, we can take that down to 2, and our wing would still survive.
That would be a blowout, and this game would end pretty much on the spot, I would say.
Well, it would be a flawless victory if you managed to do that.
I think this is something that we spotted pretty early on in the game, right, where the League Militaire player isn't really playing that many League units. So not being able to get the full advantage of the cards here is pretty difficult, I'd say. So we've finally seen the USO here, which is nice, but it's a little bit too late, especially when everything is rested on the opponent's field.
Yeah, I mean, it would, of course, guarantee being able to kill the wing, even if there was an unforeseen, but you still have to protect yourself from these 3 the thrifts here.
Unless it's double unforeseen. Which it is not. But if. Yeah, they can't swing, so we need to see how he tries to defend himself.
Well, we know he
now,
has
we haven't seen a base,
hand.
have we? So...
Another one on the field getting 2 parts now. Like, if we had the Victory Gundam, would be in a better position here, but we're forced to just play V-dash to try and start removing some of the guys. But again, it's still not as great as we'd hoped for.
Oh, overflow from shields.
We really need a blocker in here. If we have a Zolo, this might buy him 1 more turn, possibly.
Well, we know he has the Lift Riff because he bounced back the Lift Riff, but it's just a case of if the wing player has a link, it is pretty much done.
I'm pretty sure he has 1 hero in hand. I could be wrong about that, but I do believe Alex only has 3 cards in hand.
Kind of as expected, right? Because he's been very aggressive this entire time. A very rare occurrence for a wing player, I would say, but it's been interesting to watch.
Tapping 4, is this a...
It's another wing.
Does he have it?
He said he has the hero.
Yeah. And I believe that is game, ladies and gentlemen. If we go into the Lift Riff, get the breach.
As long as it's not a base. Base would keep him alive here, but it's not.
No. There we go. That was a good game there. I mean, a very dominant performance, and like you said, Jordan, it was a different approach from Wing there.
Yeah, I think it is very interesting to see this approach from Wing. You know, I think it's very important as a player to understand what you're dealt with as your opening hand, and it's quite clear that Alex was able to, you know, find out that he has a lot of blockers, he's got a lot of answers to potentially go into shields, and he took that to his full advantage.
Yeah, it was an interesting League Militaire deck, right, Adam? Because we normally see it with a different top end or more League Militaire units in general.
Yeah, I do somewhat question the makeup of the League Militaire package in there, because we saw some key League units hit the field. We had Victory and we had V-Dash, but wasn't able to kind of maximize the value of those key cards. And it is also important to note that we did not see any Gundam Arrows drop, which is one of the core kind of damage dealing engines that deck was running. So it was an interesting one.
And typically with League as well, with Armoro, you almost, not guaranteed, but you're likely to see your level 4 by at least Gundam Armoro or by seeing Victory and Uso, but we didn't see either of those turn 4.
No, not at all. And you could tell that the I would say on paper it was the blue-white deck that looked more aggressive, but the green-white player ended up being the aggressor in this matchup, and I just don't think the blue-white player got the draws to kind of claw back any form of advantage. Wasn't really able to control Alex's side of the board throughout the game, and didn't really get its draw engine going to try and outvalue the green-white deck, which does get very anemic around turn 6 and 7. So no, it's a good way to see green-white being played out in this type of matchup.
All right, so round 3, we have 2 gentlemen here that have gone 2-0 so far, and this is a really, really fun matchup, this one, right?
Yeah, so this is going to be, we're seeing League Militaire again, and I would say this is a more, run-of-the-mill type list. We're seeing stuff like the Destroy mode in here, and we're seeing a decent amount of the League Militaire units in here as well. But I think the real star of the show here is going to be the other deck, which is Green-White Zeon.
Yeah, I mean, that big Zam, it be Zam, and then we got the Ad Zam as well, right?
Well, and the Big Row, these are all very interesting kind of tech options. I'm surprised he hasn't chucked a Char's Gelgoog in there, but he does have the vanilla Gelgoog. It's going to be an interesting matchup, because I do think with the gun easy setup we see on the League Militaire side, that does lean to the slightly more aggro instead of the Victory Gundam token generation piece, so it should be interesting to see how they handle each other at this point. But I'm very excited for the potential of Big Zam.
All right, well, let's jump into this one and see what's going to happen here. We are getting ready to go here. Of course, we've also got the Shah sleeves as well. So this is going to be a really, really fun game. It's not one that you see often here, but this one should be good. So turn 1.
And the green-white is going to be going first here. And yeah, the green-white list has got some real good early plays. Got obviously the Zaku 2 that gets +2, but we're also seeing, the standard package of the Char Zaku, and there he is right there, +2 attack on attack. So
now, if you're the League player, you're thinking on you war maybe, but this is slightly different.
Well, it's also interesting. He's only running the Zaku 2, which he has played as his only 2-1s, right? So he's not going to be flooding the board as aggressively as you might expect a 1-year war deck. So it'd be interesting to see what read the League Militaire is able to take after a couple of turns.
Honestly, I think the most exciting thing about that, there's one of the cards that's going to be very interesting in this list. It is the Goof, and I don't think our League Militaire player is going to be expecting some of these cards coming out. Like, we've been looking at the list, and some of these cards are mighty interesting. Big Zam, we have Tokwon, Charlie Abul, Xavier Olivet,
Valedictorian, this is what the card game is about. It's games like these, the fun ones. So we see him tapping 3 for a show of resolve.
Oh, that's not good. That is not good.
This is a rough start for our League Militaire player.
Yeah, it's not looking good. And you know what? We missed one card in our talk about the green-white Zeon list, and I think it's going to be one of the things that is major in this matchup. A Bauer Q is in this list, which means that if you want to go for shields, you have to remove all the board. And while League Militaire can obviously do that, we're seeing a lot of good defensive options in this deck as well. So it's going to be interesting. And we do see the Riddy in the shield. So opponent now knows the full color combination in the blue-white.
And he's going to get full punished for that show at resolve early. He is down to
and now
3 shields.
Now we know the exact list, right? We see the Reinforced Junior, so we've got a really good understanding of what this deck list is going to be.
this is the thing about League Militaire, right? It's a double-edged sword because into aggro, obviously you do have like stuff like V-Dash is so great into that matchup, but when it comes to aggro, it can be quite susceptible.
Oh my god, it's a crazy... Oh no, it's a crazy punish for the base being played in the Char Zaku 2 and Char Pilot. It is... Oh.
I think that's game. Like, I'm just trying to run through what the League Militaire unit can play, right? He can play 2 blockers max this turn, or 1 link unit. I'm not sure that removes lethal off board at this point, especially considering 1 unit has high maneuver, so...
Does this kind of just show how strong the low Xeon stuff is? Because bear in mind, we've not even really had an opportunity to see the rest of this deck yet. Now, of course, Cloudy here has somewhat bricked here, not being able to play much. Yeah.
It's a Delta Plus, and I'm assuming we're going to see a Riddy here?
Yeah, he did add the Riddy, so it's got a decent amount of health here, but I don't know if it's going to be enough in this game. I mean... Look, we were talking about all the high-end cards that Xeon has access to, but just turns out good old Goof is going to be able to go for the game here, potentially.
Yeah. Well, Goof is just the little man.
No, don't kill the Goof. Right? Don't kill the Goof.
It's the rules, right? You never go for a promo.
Oh, he's left the high maneuver on the ball. Not that he has any blockers, but... He has 2 shields.
Well, we're in a tough spot here because we've already seen a shield get burst, so... I mean, a base get burst, so it's kind of... We're still putting it in God's hands almost that next turn, and that's if there's no other link.
Wow. I mean... Is this just going to be it? Like, just swing with the token, swing with Char Zaku, go for Zaku for game?
Yeah,
smartly swing with the 1/1 token. Go for the 3/2. It's not a base, and it's just game.
Didn't even play a card. Well, there you have it.
That is our 2nd flawless victory.
It just kind of goes to show, like, yeah, it's a shame that we didn't get to see the rest of that package, of course. And of course, the League Militaire really didn't get anything going, so it kind of feels like maybe for him it was a bit of a non-game. But it just kind of goes to show if you don't see the early pieces, it can be devastating, right?
Oh, it's a really unique twist on that rush deck as well. I think, you know, the Goof dropping that extra body is fantastic setup for an early run at shields.
One in the game. Let's just be frank about it. Like, the extra 1 swing just helped him confirm the game for himself, right? So...
And obviously running the Quattro as well, there was going to be no shortage of links in this game. And of course, we still didn't even get to see the Tokuan and stuff like that. So the good thing about this tournament is we've seen a nice spread of decks as well. We haven't seen too much aggro at the moment either as well, but just goes to show when aggro gets cooking, it just cooks. But was this a case of aggro cooking, or was this a case of bricking on League Militaire?
I think it's a bit of both, right? Like, being able to, you know, play out a Goof, like, I think is usually pretty heavily punishable by a lot of ping, but, you know, as blue-white doesn't have a lot of ping, and they can only have really parts tokens from, you know, stuff like the Victory Gundam, it was definitely an uphill battle, I would say.
Yeah, this definitely felt like a partial, like, as in a brick from blue-white, but also, the green-white list is punished by, let's say, a deck that has a bit more ping in it. It has a lot of low HP units, so there's value to be had if you're getting like a Mika Adapt off on board and still able to swing in. That probably swings it if you're playing a blue-purple or a heavier ping version of blue, but you know, high roll is high roll and low roll is low roll, and sometimes that's Gundam.
Okay, so we're here for the final round. This is going to be a very, very fun one, right, boys?
Oh, definitely looking forward to this one. We've got that very interesting Xeon rush deck versus Alex's green-white list. And, you know, we obviously know Alex, a top 4 regional player, very strong. But this deck is going to throw some curveballs I'm not sure he'll see coming.
The green-white Xeon list is definitely interesting into the wing matchup, right? Because you do have some of those low health units, but potentially on how early you know, the deck gets going, could potentially get a really early win. But depends on how many blockers the wing player sees, so we'll have to find out.
And as always, guys, if you want to participate in these tournaments, make sure you join the Team Strike Discord. The link to that will be down in the description below. We want to put on more events with prizing and stuff like that, so And of course, support the video, like the video. This is the first time that we've ever done anything like this. And if you guys want to see more, let us know. But with that said, let's jump into the final round.
What do you reckon the critical massive blockers he needs to see in his first 3 turns? Probably 2 to 3, and he'd probably wither.
Yeah, it's definitely like 2 to 3.
And if he gets a sword strike, I think it's going to be...
Yeah, but I mean, the green or white Xeon player does have cards to potentially counter the blockers. I mean, I'm looking at that Tokwon. Tokwan's pretty darn good into those blockers, I'd say.
And interesting as well, we've got Alex here using the overflowing affection here, not really knowing what to look for.
Yeah, it's a bit of an awkward one, right? Because you don't know what you're playing against, and they discard the Peace Millions, so straight away you know what deck they're playing.
This is going to be really fun, and I'm really hoping that we get to see what both decks can really do in this game, because this feels like a really fun matchup.
Ooh.
Oh, it's a strong opening from the Xeon deck. Considering he runs 4 of them, he got 2 in his opening hand. It's a good roll.
What we're looking for now is a blocker, and it seems like that Alex does have the blocker here, so good answer into the double little weenies. So let's see how this plays out.
Well, he might be expecting 1 Year War, so he may be expecting ping. We know that there is not ping, so I'm interested to see if that influences his blocking decisions here.
Well, there's no way he can ever expect the big row and the Adzam, so I almost still think that you would still, from the wing perspective, you'd still just play it the same, right? I suppose you just go to try and stabilize.
We'll find out a lot about this turn, if he decides to block or not, right? If he decides to block, then could be, you know, a pretty quick game, you know, depending on what the result is, but he's going to opt to let that through, going into that aggro like mindset, I guess, kind of like playing around, because obviously if they let this through, you know, Alex can swing with the Lifrith into the Zaku 2, easy trade there.
I think with the 3 resources still open, it's he may let both 2 because he's fearing if there's ping follow-up.
Yeah, it depends if he has another blocker in hand as well, so he's going to let that through, and it's a...
Unforeseen.
I mean, it's not the order you... Yeah, I mean...
It's a good card to get. Good card to get in this situation if you are the Xeon player, right? Because now there's less threat of that happening, and I'm pretty sure that the wing player is only playing free, so less chance to find it later in the game, potentially.
And it's all information. That's the thing. So... very interesting here, because you can understand why you would let that through if you're thinking that there's going to be ping.
Can't wait to see the reaction when they see a white card being played, but it's going to be the Charles Zaku, so still holding the cards to the chest, and we'll see if there's anything else being played here. Maybe a Pilot. Pilot would be kind of interesting here, force another swing and get some search going potentially, but it's looking like a pass.
Alright, now we get to see what Alex has up his sleeve. He's going to take an early swing.
You have to address the board, right? So that's first and foremost, get that out of the way.
Stem some of the bleeding. And his ideal turn would be to follow up with another blocker here. But that early overflow may have indicated he was not happy with his hand, so...
Well, that's one of the points of contention with early overflowing, right? Is if you've not seen your opponent's cards yet, do you know what you're looking for? So how do you know what to give away? Unless you have stinkers in the deck already, but ideally you're not going to have any of those, because, you know, why would you have them in the first place? So it's an interesting decision, but we do see another Lifrith come out here.
And they pass the turn. Yeah, I mean, obviously the most optimal play there, if they had it, would be the Kira and the Sword Strike Gundam there, being able to essentially clear up the entire board and get the control back in your favour. So now it's a little bit iffy. Still don't know the colour combination, which is obviously huge in this matchup. So we'll see how it goes for the Xeon player now.
Yeah, because it's interesting because Shenlong is not really going to be able to do much in this. I mean, I suppose you could, if it's linked, you might be able to get some value for free, but yeah, I think I mean, obviously we do know that they are running Graceful Demeanor in here as well.
Well, I'm interested to see how this green-white variation handles it, because traditional 1 Year War or Blurple, and we see the Char link coming out here, the message is usually to try and clear the blockers up if you can, but I imagine he's going to try and go around and hope some of his pings will address them later on. But it'd be interesting to see what the play pattern is here, because he doesn't have that Gundam armor for the three.
We get Akira.
First Akira.
What was interesting there was Alex was a bit hesitant before flipping that. So does he have a graceful in hand there? Because obviously he's got the EX resource there as well.
It could be an indication of an action step card. Although he may have just fed him Akira that will feed. Oh, we're seeing that spice.
Alex is gonna have to do some reading, because that's the Toke one. He's getting the keyboard out, because this card, I would say, is not really seeing that much play. But in this type of matchup, it's a huge card. Being able to, essentially stop receiving battle damage if it does get blocked by a level 4 or lower is going to be huge. And most importantly, it's on the Gelgoog, and Gelgoog is just a Xeon trait pilot for a Link, so it can swing this turn.
Yeah, and I mean, taking that up to a 6 AP unit as well, like you said, level 4s or lower, we're not taking damage. This actually feels very brutal.
Well, it's very hard to address, because I think you have to let it through no matter what, so unless he's clearing into the Lefrith that's rested here, miss another shield down, and he will need an AP boost or a Link to deal with the linked Charles Gelgoog next turn. Because
this is exactly the issue, is because we can't block it, so this is not looking great here. But again, it's these kind of cards which can really throw everything out.
Yep, he lets it through, and it's a piece million. That could be impactful here, because he still needs to address the Gelgoog, but otherwise it's 2 swings to clear that base for everything else left on board.
Yeah, I was a bit hesitant when I saw the Gelgoog, actually, because I feel like if you have this combination in hand, you kind of want to hold it for the piece million, I'd say, because just being able to, get rid of the base straight away is probably one of the weaknesses of one-year war strategy, mainly. Like, they only have stuff like the Gundam Moro, so, using a card combination like this, not for the piece million when it does get played, can potentially have some issues for the opponent going into the future turns.
I mean, I think you just block this, right? Because there's no resources up. So if you are worried about ping, there's nothing really coming back. And you do survive.
I tend to agree. I think you need to block, because you're probably going to suicide that unit next.
Yeah, and we know that Alex has the Kira in hand, so definitely potentially, some good cleanup on the following turn. I think the awkward thing, though, is that what do you want to bounce, right? Because if you go into the L Strike Kira and you decide to block this Zaku 2, it becomes a bit awkward, right? Because that means you have to bounce something that has a link. So you get those back, and it doesn't feel as good, so...
I mean, there's also, because it could be a case of he might actually be thinking about, I want to put Kira underneath that, so I want to keep it healthy, then I can -2 into the Gelgoog, and I will survive on that turn.
Yeah, that is a potential.
But
it doesn't
also
necessarily have to be a link.
Yeah, and also I think it's important to note that we still don't know the other colour, right? There's still the looming threat of, what answers could you potentially have going into it, but you'd think with the Toke one revealed it would be quite clear, but I mean, it could just be like a little tech option for these types of matchups, so yes, it's
unforeseen incident.
Yeah.
So, he was swinging into the Lifrith. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, aggro does like to clear up blockers where it can, because it obviously thins the counters to it as you go through.
I actually think that was a very, very solid play. Of course, it's hard to know specifically. We assume that they were swinging at shields there, but that makes sense. So that was actually quite a good move there. We got 4. Is it the Ale?
Yep.
It is.
And the EX being burned, so we're going to see Kira.
But what does it bounce?
I think he bounced
I
the
would
Shah,
bounce
right?
Yeah.
Because the thing is, even when
think
Shah
with
comes
the amount
back,
of links, we can't see his hand, right? But the green-white player's probably not got a massive hand at this point.
and of course Shah can come back, high maneuver the base, but that's a 6 HP base, right? So with the 5 AP, it still doesn't die.
Has he passed? I'm surprised he hasn't swung out, actually, knowing that it's potentially a Char high maneuver turn next.
Yeah, but it's 2 swings, isn't it, to take just that EX?
Oh no, he is going to swing. Yeah. Yeah, he's going to try and take some initiative.
Well, we did see him be quite aggressive in his last game as well, so...
Well, you know, if you identify aggro outside of pilots or like bases, they don't run too much burst. Now there is a little bit of spice with this deck because it has Gracefuls and Striker backs in there, so we'll see if there's any landmines for Alex to come across. But he's probably feeling a bit under pressure because of how few shields he has left. But I do think Peacemillion will help him.
But what he's probably unaware of is just there's quite a lot of burst in this deck, of course, with Quattro being in there. We saw it, was it like 3 were in the shields, or they ended up with 3 in their hand in the last game, but we see the Goof here.
Yeah, Goof doesn't feel that impactful currently, but I mean, it is just spawning another body that needs to be dealt with. So they're going to play out the Charzaku 2 here to pass the turn. So a little bit slow, but we see in the deck list itself that there are quite a few late game options in like the Adzam, Big Ro, Zeong, and Big Zam, which I think is going to be a key card in this matchup, because if they're able to, you know, go into like 10 units and do full damage to everything with blocker, could be a bit of a blowout card.
That's the thing, and let's be real, it's not something that you would ever see coming either.
Yeah, Big Zam in the finals, unlikely, I'd say. But I will say,
I'm interested to see how Alex addresses his board here. Does he decide to continue pushing aggro to see if it forces the rush player to address his own board, or does he continue to stand on ceremony and build up that blocker wall?
Well, I mean, he's probably definitely expecting Zeong now, and we are coming into range of Zeong, so...
And he did bounce the Char back to hand, so it is a possible thing to happen. I will say though, like, obviously we still don't know the color combination, right? So there could be like some thoughts about this being a green-red deck, because the Goof is very commonly played, I would say, in those decks, and you know, it is something to think about, because if you do have the ping, you know, like it can threaten.
Yeah, maybe he thinks it's green-red Zeong, and he's thinking, I need to make sure that this does not go that late.
And interestingly enough, leaving 3 resources up as well. Could he possibly have a graceful demeanor in hand? We know that there's at least one more unforeseen in there, but the chances of all 3 being shown in the game may be unlikely, but not impossible.
And it is that graceful demeanor.
Yeah.
So that all resets the board. There will be an opportunity for the aggro player to kind of reset, but that does stunt the momentum. And actually, Alex
has done quite well here to stabilize and actually be posing a massive threat here.
He's a link away from lethal if the aggro player cannot clear anything from his side of the board at this point.
Yeah, because also if we were to even burst a Baoku, there's nothing rested on board, so we can still go into those Lefrefs as well. And even then, you would just use the L strike to take it down. So this is a really big twist here as well. So we're tapping 5. Is this the Zeong? It is.
It is. So that's going to go straight into Peacemillion.
I actually don't know.
Do you think he needs to address board? Like, because I think he may need to address board, because he is a link away from a lethal.
Yeah, that's my worry. I think that there needs to be some sort of answer into the Ale, because the Ale is going to be able to break the base, even if it is a Bower Q. So it might be a bit of an awkward situation going into the Zeong, into Ale, to really get the max out of it.
It's a bit of a feels bad, but I think you're right. It's the only play line that protects him from potentially losing next turn.
The question is, he's hesitating. Does he have something in hand with that resource up? He does.
Oh, yep.
Unforeseen.
It's the 3rd!
Another
one.
Whoa. Wow. That's interesting.
Oh, and the Lefrif Liz. Yeah.
Wow.
He was looking for value. He didn't want to chuck the Zeong away. I think that...
Wow.
That may have cost him. We're into Hero Link territory right now.
Well, a Hero Link could actually seal this game because you'd probably go into one of the tokens.
Swinging to shields.
Yeah, he's going for it.
It's a char.
That's a chart.
He must have a Link in hand if he's...
If he's going into shields, he definitely has.
Big Zam.
There's the Big Zam. There's the jump scare.
I mean, I wanted to see his face if a striker pack popped out of shields. That's what I really wanted to.
Tapping for. There it is.
There it is.
Yes, I think this is it. I think he's got it.
Clears a token.
It's got to be a base.
Get the breach. Is it a base?
It's graceful
not a base.
demeanor.
It's a graceful.
Doesn't hit the
affect
L strike.
But we do need to still resolve it, right? So it still will bounce. The two Lefrifs.
Yep.
And the L seals it. And there we have our winner. It is green, white. Alex of Team Strike does take the tournament. This was a great match, wasn't it?
Oh, it was completely the opposite of the prior round where that Xeon deck got up at early head of steam and just ran them over. It was a big heavyweight kind of punch from the aggro deck and the stabilization from green white and then just locking out the board. I think the use of command cards there was critical to the turnaround. It was very interesting to see how that played out.
Being able to find free, unforeseen, and a graceful demeanor to stunt the game plan of green-white Xeon is definitely all it takes to essentially, you know, change the course of battle here. And yeah, it's unfortunate because I think there was some potential lines that the Xeon player could do. Like, it wasn't great, obviously, but swinging into the AO, I think, would have definitely helped there because there was no way that it could be removed. But overall, I mean, I think we got to see the power of both decks here, being able to, you know, control the field with those command cards and be able to get the aggro aggression early. And I'm pretty sure that there was still no white cards shown in that game, right, for the Xeon player?
Yeah, I think it was just the graceful demeanor at the end, which kind of showed what we were playing. But you know what? It's been really good. Obviously, you guys are watching at home. You'll see that we got the graphics up to see the spread of the decks over the tournament, and we actually had a really, really good spread of a wide variety of decks there as well. So, how do we feel about the spread?
Definitely a good spread of decks, and thankfully not as much rush, I would say. Obviously, you know, rush is a very key, pivotal part in the current game state. We see some blurple with 2 there, but I think the big surprising thing here, and we were mentioning it before, for Destiny, you know, that's a big turnout, especially for a small event like this.
So there we have it. That was the first ever Team Strike tournament. There's the standings on screen for you guys now that you can see. As always, if you want to be a part of these, make sure you join the Team Strike Discord. The link to that will be down in the description below. Also, massive shout out to Serenity of Team Strike and of course Vortex TCG for joining me as well. Make sure you go check out and subscribe to his channel as well. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me for this. It's been really fun.
Thank you for having me. First time doing some commentary, and can't wait to do some more for the Team Strike Discord.
It was a pleasure, man. Had a great time.
All right, well guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.